So I'll give you the lineage of just one situation for Adam Schefter, and then you tell me if you buy this bullshit that he's saying right now. So Adam Schefter told us a few months back Sam Darnold was going to net us a second and a fifth. Remember? He said a second and a fifth. Then some shake-up happened, and everybody started talking, and they said Sam Darnold has all kinds of people calling. The teams are motivated. They want Sam Darnold. Adam Schefter comes on the radio show and says, I think, honestly, he's going to get a late first-round pick. That's what I think. Pittsburgh, that kind of Saints, in that realm. So he went from second and fifth to first. He's riding the waves. That's all he's doing. He's riding the waves. Now, I heard earlier this morning, they're talking fourths and fifths. These guys ride the waves, and they all try to pretend that they know something. They don't know anything, especially when it comes to Joe Douglas. What are you guys doing? Where you been? How is everybody? How you been in the 18 minutes since I've seen you guys? Except for John Rogers, of course, down in Australia. Say hello to John, everybody. He's on his lunch break down under. So, John, it's an acquired taste. I've heard that. What is Vegemite? You guys ever heard that? He gave me a Vegemite sandwich. And he said, do you come from the land down under? Remember? That's what that song's about. What is Vegemite exactly? What is Vegemite? You guys, anybody had Vegemite here besides John Rogers? We got a few guys from down there. What's up, Hater? What's up, Mr. Magix and Dean? Jeff Otis is here. Brian Lemus, Eminon, John Amarella. Yeah, Nalty, John Post. Right, man. Braden's here. This is the varsity, man. This is the varsity. Salty, I hear. Oh, see, yeah, I heard it was salty. I thought you were talking about John Salty Nuts and Alty. That's what I thought you meant. Tyson. Hold on one second, guys. Yes, little one? What's the matter? I'm live, so you got to talk to mommy. I love you. Why are you sad? What? No, she's not. She's awake. Go ahead. Little girl. What's up, liberal Irishman? It's good to see you. Rockaway Archie, what's up, buddy? There he is. Have you ever had Vegemite, though, Hater? That's what we're looking. Oh, John Post didn't like it. He says it was disgusting. Vegemite sounds like something tofu or something, right, Brian? I think it's like a really dark paste, isn't it? Isn't it like a paste? I come from the land down under. So we can, let me know if you're still in here, John. Let us know what Vegemite is and what's really going on with it. We could look it up, of course, but, you know, it's better to get it from the source, right, man? So let's write. Slaugo, here we go. Oh, right, hold on, Slaugo. What's up, Ron? It's nice time. It's not nice time. It's nice to have you here, buddy. Sincerely. We have a good time. So this is the After Hours Whatever Fest. We literally just talk Jets and all kinds of other stuff, Buffalo Wings and fantasy football for the last 2 hours over at Jets Talk 24/7. And then over the course of the last couple of years, some guys said, hey, man, I'm not quite done. Can we hang out a little bit more? I said, yeah, why not? Let's hang out a little bit. Generally speaking, by now, my whole family's asleep. I'm alone in the RV. So we just said, let's do it. And then we started getting into all kinds of stuff, right, guys? All kinds of real stuff. This ends up being a lot of the time where we talk about our feelings and shit. It's only if it's organic. We're not going to just force feed that kind of stuff. But sometimes it gets there, man. So here he goes. And then we'll get into Slaugo's right. We'll talk about the cuts. I want to talk to you guys about the rest of the cuts around the league and who we'd like. Vegemite on toast is the best. Just thinly put it on in a jar. But what is it? Hater doesn't like it, he says. Well, so, all right. Vegemite on toast. All right, let me know what Vegemite is, though. But then we'll move on. Right, Liam says it. So here's what he says. He says, it's more that it's more like a therapy session, right? This is where like a kind of tight crew after that comes together and goes, hey man, what are we really thinking? What's really going on? And you can speak freely. The only thing I ask is don't troll anybody. Don't be, don't be hurtful. I don't like politics and all, because it ruins what we're trying to do, which is talk some Jets, right? So me too, John. I love this After Hours one. This is good stuff. So let's go back up to Slaugo here. He says, what's up, Liam? I see you, buddy. Slaugo says, okay, let's talk cuts. So now John Nolte is also saying this, Slaugo. He's saying he's so annoyed that Feeney is still on the roster and Pirine beat out Adams. Now, I'm a fan of Pirine beating out Adams. I like Adams just as much as anybody else, but I also like Pirine. I think people are giving him a raw deal. That's my thoughts on the matter. I have a video coming out this week where I go into Pirine and what really happened last year. People have a misguided idea of what he did last year. It's much, much different than people think. Now, I don't think he's going to be the next Barry Sanders or anything like that. But Pirine's the kind of guy you want around in your rotation. I'm a firm believer in that, and I support it. Now, if he got cut, I'm not going to be so upset by Pirine being cut. It's not like that for me, but I'm a supporter of LaMichael Pirine. I liked him in school, and I like him as our draft pick. I would have taken him in the 5th, but I like him on our team. And I think I had a very strong feeling he was going to make it. And I think he had a fantastic camp, a better camp than Adams. Adams had a better last game, but Pirine had a better camp all the way from OTAs to the preseason. So Dan Feeney is an interesting one. Now, a lot of us saw him get absolutely rolled, right? He was literally laying on his back. An offensive lineman laying on his back and he's not a part of a huge pile or something is a bad look, right? We all saw it. We saw him get manhandled more than once. So why is he still here? Well, he also had some very solid plays. So there's that. The ones where he was bad were glaringly bad, but he also held his own more than given credit for too. I think his number is still low though, so I'm not defending him, but my point is I can see why they like him. But here's the real reason, Nolte, is that he's guaranteed $3 million. So I don't think that if there was someone on the roster that was significantly better than him, I think that you might have seen that $3 million not hold as much sway as it does. But tell me who was better than him. Yeah, we saw some stuff. Corey Levin, Murray. We had some good offensive linemen that were developmental and looked good at times. But I don't think there was anybody on the roster, especially with Alex Lewis retiring, Cam Clark getting put on IR, that was significantly better than Dan Feeney. Plus, we owe him $3 million guaranteed. So I think when you look at all that stuff together, hopefully ABT stays healthy and we don't have to see Dan Feeney except for spot duty here and there. And I think he also plays center. So again, versatility, a little better than we think he was in the preseason and in camp, and the $3 million. So that's what we're looking at. What's up, Eric Craig? What's up, Jets Report? Hey, buddy. So I think that's what we're looking at here, man. Hater says many Australians love Vegemite. Trade him. So PG Hudson Jr. is, hey, man, I haven't seen you in a while. I used to see you all the time. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm missing you, but it's good to see you. It's nice to have you around. So he says trade Feeney. I don't know how much interest there's going to be on Feeney. So what we're going to do, let me just see what else you guys say. Maybe they're talking about Feeney, but I want to show you guys the cuts, and we can look a little bit. Let's look over the list and see who we like. How's that sound? Braden Bethwaite is saying Edoga, no thanks. Well, Edoga's a tackle who can play guard, so there's some versatility there. But Edoga can play both tackle spots, so he really should be on the right side. But Edoga, I thought he was going to get cut. I thought they were going to keep McDermott over him. I didn't see McDermott cut, but McDermott's going to go on IR. Once it's September 1st, which is tomorrow, right? It's today the 31st? Yeah. So September 1st is tomorrow. So once these guys are on the roster tomorrow, you're going to see some more room made. And they might have deals with somebody. Say, look, here's what we're doing. Kenny Yeboah, we got to push you off the roster. We're going to take Connor McDermott and this guy and put them on IR September 1st, and we're going to bring you right back. And they might have a handshake on that. You know what I mean? We don't know. There's going to be some room made in the morning. I don't know what time it happens tomorrow. It might be noon or something like that. If somebody wants to look that up, let me know what time that they have to be on the roster by. There's probably a cutoff, like noon on the 1st. Then they can be put on IR and come back in 3 to 6 weeks. So that's going to be part of the play, guys. Don't forget that. That's definitely part of the mix. I think Connor McDermott might go to IR if he's not already. Let me see. New York Jets cuts, and we'll take a look at this. But Chuma Edoga has value. He does. You know, you don't forget with Chuma Edoga, man. I mean, we kind of did him dirty. You remember that? He came in for right tackle when who was it? Who was our right tackle that got hurt? He was a good right tackle, but he got hurt. And Chuma Edoga came in and he played excellent at the right tackle. The next game, who was our left tackle at the time? The guy, he went over to Arizona. It's funny, I can't remember these guys. He was just here 2 years ago. He was our starting left tackle for quite a few years. He went down, and Chuma Edoga got moved over. Now remember, he just had his first start ever, not first time playing at right tackle. A week later, we moved him over to left tackle, and Myles Garrett beat the living shit out of him. And then he got hurt the next week. It's like all of a sudden he was done, and then he came back, and they stuck him at left tackle. He was never supposed to be over there yet. So we kind of did him wrong. You know, and I'm not the biggest Chuma Edoga fan. I'm just trying to be objective here. Let's take a look here and see who the Jets cut. Yes.
Did you get a tornado warning on your phone?
No. Did you?
Cindy did.
Tornado warning?
But I have not got one. Neither of you, and neither has Rob.
I don't know. Let me look.
There's a watch.
There's a tornado watch. It's not a warning.
But she got a warning on her phone.
I don't see tornado warning.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get one. The good news is that we're in an RV, so we'll just stay together and we'll fly. Like the Wizard of Oz. Maybe we'll go to Oz. Wouldn't that be neat?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, don't you worry about tornadoes. We're fine.
And they have a
We're
basement
fine.
just in case.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to share. Let me see here. I'm going to go to NewYorkJets.com here. Where is it? They had their cuts. NewYorkJets.com. Let's go over their cuts. Jets current roster and photos. Jets acquire 4th rounder for Herndon. Where the hell are they? Where's the cuts? Jets removed 27 players from the roster. Okay, I'm going to share this with you, and we'll just take a look real quick. Okay, sound good, guys? Cyclone, I know, right? Well, I don't know Jets forever. I mean, he's a decent player. You know what I mean? He's not. You know, I don't know. Like I said, I thought he wasn't going to make it, Chuma Edoga. But I do get it. You know what I mean? I get it. And we don't know the camp he had. We haven't heard anything from Chuma Edoga. I haven't seen a damn word written about him. Have you? That's right, Jeremy. Brainy Bean. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Let's take a look at the cuts for a second, just to make sure we're all on the same page over here. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Whoops. All right. So, all right, you got it? So here's, what are they doing? Okay, here's our transactions made. So obviously, and I know you guys know most of this, but let's just look over this and see who we think is going to go on IR. So, see who we think is going to be brought back when some people go on IR. So we have Josh Johnson and James Morgan. I think James Morgan's going to be practice squad. Josh Adams if he makes it through waivers, which he might not, man. He's had enough of a showcase where if somebody's hurting at running back, they might take him. Lawrence Cager, I also think, is going to be brought back. DJ Montgomery, I'm not so sure. Vincent Smith is probably going to be brought back. Dan Brown, I don't know. Ryan Griffin, maybe. Yaboa, I think, is a good candidate. Grant Hermans, I can totally see being brought back. He's another offensive lineman. Corey Levin, I thought, and David Moore. I thought all three of those. And maybe, I don't know. I like all these linemen. I really do. Isaiah Williams, too. But look, here was an interesting one. Ronald Blair was outright cut, so they didn't try to squeeze him on on IR, which is interesting. So they might try to bring him back, like we talked about the other day. We're allowed 6 players that have more than 2 years accrued. So that's good. Hamilcar Rashid, I think, will be brought back. Kyle Phillips, I don't know. I think he's going. Yeah, he's on the PUP list. Right. Tanzel Smart, Jeremiah Valuaga. I don't know about, I'm not so sure with these guys. I think we're going to poach elsewhere from the waivers. Aaron Adoye, the linebacker. Noah Dawkins, I thought would make it. Milo Eifler. Delshawn Phillips, who I'm not really all that high on. He's shown flashes, but I don't know. Elijah Campbell, JT Hassel, Lamar Jackson, and Sherrod Niesman. So we don't even have our fourth safety on the list, guys. So what's next? Practice. Oh, look, let's see. September 1st, 4 p.m. So that's what it is. So what do you guys think? So who do you think is going to be? What do you think is going to happen? Right. I want Hermans too. I think Grant Hermans is a really good mix here. Let me just leave this up here for you guys for a minute. All right. So we know Johnson and Morgan. So let's look at these guys. What's up, Frankie? So let's talk, buddy. Let's talk. I thought Blair would be here too, but I'm fairly certain he's injured, and that might be the deciding factor with him. Our cuts were exactly what we needed. Matthias Simon says that. So Eddie thinks Hamilcar Rashid should be brought back. I thought, look, man, I got to be real honest. I thought Rashid was going to be one that benefited from Vinnie Curry and Carl Lawson being injured for the year. I thought Rashid was going to get a spot. Now, we obviously went and traded for Shaq Lawson, which I think is a great move, by the way. I think it's going to be a better move than people think. Like, don't forget, guys, he did okay in Buffalo, so well, in fact, that he got a 3-year, $30 million contract with the Dolphins. Now, the Dolphins didn't like him right away, pretty soon after he got there. Obviously, they didn't let him finish his contract, so they traded him for a linebacker that they needed. And the Texans just didn't like him. You know, they didn't, for whatever it was, not a good fit or whatever. So he's not like somebody who fell from grace or something. He just had a spot where he didn't like. He did well in Buffalo. Not up to his first-round draft selection, but at the same time, he's been a solid player, a very solid player, just not a great player. I think he's going to come into our defense and be a little bit better than a lot of people are thinking. And for a 6th-round pick, I think that's pretty good. So Josh Adams, it says waived, Frankie. It says waived, right? So it's interesting. Herndon is still listed. I don't think he's on the roster, is he? I don't think he's still listed on the official roster. Maybe on the internet, maybe on the website. So like Jets Mets says, we need some safety. So look, let me ask you guys this. Looking at this list of guys that we cut, there are going to be guys that go on IR, okay? One is definitely McDermott. Okay, I thought Ronald Blair was going to be one of those guys, but there's a couple more that can be placed on IR and brought back in 3 weeks or 6 weeks. Okay, so that'll make another couple of spots. Plus, when you look at the bottom end of our roster, you see it all the time. Guys that are kept today may get released tomorrow if they're able to work out, a scenario where the guy they're able to bring in is better. So if Herndon's still on the 53, then that's one spot already. He's on the roster until tomorrow when the trade goes through. Got it, Garrett. Thank you. I see what you guys are trying to tell me. You're all trying to tell me. So let's see what Shaq will have a defensive line coach that he had in Buffalo. Yeah, it's a good point. So Salty says we're gonna have Ertz. Now I think it's a possibility. And the thing that not only do we need a tight end, but I think the relationship with Philly does make it a little bit more real than maybe some other moves. You know what I mean? Some other guys that people want. But I gotta say, unless I like Zach Ertz. I liked him in the draft that year. Okay, I liked him in the draft. I loved what he did for Philly. So I'm like, I hate every NFL player that's not on the Jets, but I do, it's hard to say like because I don't like anybody, but I do like the player. I like what he brings. I thought he was very, very good in Philly. So to be able to bring him over, I think he probably still has some left in the tank. How do you fall off a cliff and not, you know what I mean? Not still be able to play to some degree. If Joe Douglas thinks he can get something out of him, if he's better than Brown or Griffin or Yabo, then do it. Go for it. But I think bringing a guy like Hollister in here might be better. I love Nick Eubanks, man. Let me tell you, Nick Eubanks I liked more than Kenny Yeboah. I don't know if you guys remember that. I'm like attached to Yeboah, and that's for good reason. But I'm a big Nick Eubanks guy too. Nick Eubanks, I'm a Tony Poljan guy too, to a slightly lesser degree. So it's going to be interesting. That's just it, right, Jordan Victor? So he says he didn't have a good Texans training camp. And who knows why, Like, dude, they brought over that coach. He was like he was kind of like the last resort. Nobody really wanted to go down there. Remember? It's like they interviewed Bieniemy. That didn't go well. Remember, he was putting all these demands and he wanted to be the GM or something weird like that. And everybody else was kind of like staying away from the Texans. They looked like they were a rudderless ship. So they got a coach that was kind of a last resort, albeit a very respected man as far as coaches go. Head coach, they were saying, it's kind of odd. He never even got a look at head coach before. So who knows what's going on down there that Shaq Lawson just kind of didn't get along with or whatever, So I think it's a good move, guys. Now, this is something I'd like to see. John Bushnell. I really like the idea of bringing Ben Mason on, man. I like it. And then let Wesco and Ben Mason kind of man the fullback / tight end, even like H-back, a little bit back behind the line a little bit, and kind of do some more stuff. H-back works really well with the wide zone. So I like it. Lots of cuts. All right. So let me close this down. Those are our cuts. You see them if you missed a few. Here's our cuts. Okay. So here's like the offensive line section right here. All right. There's the offensive line section. Grant Hermans, Corey Levin, David Moore, who I thought a couple of these guys were going to make it. Jimmy Murray and Isaiah Williams. All of them have upside. Developmental properties. And I think that we should consider at least one or two. Grant Hermans is somebody that did well. So then we got the tight ends. Look at this. We cut all three of them. I'm so surprised. The wide receivers, Lawrence Cager, DJ Montgomery, and Vincent Smith. Obviously, James Morgan, I think, will be brought back. I don't know the story with Ronald Blair. So anyway, that's what we're looking at. We got rid of 3 safeties and a corner. Crazy. We got rid of 5 defensive linemen, though. Look at that. 5 defensive linemen. It's crazy. And the linebackers. I'd love to see them bring in just like somebody with a little bit of experience at the linebacker spot. Somebody with a little bit of experience. We could use one. We got Mosley and Cashman, right? All right, so let me close this down, and let's look at this. You guys into looking up some names? The Grant Herman's Revenge Tour. Let me see what you guys are saying. Then I'm going to bring I'll bring up the list. I mean, there's 600 players. It's going to take us a minute. And I'll see who you guys. How about bring back Desir at cornerback? I don't know. Joe Douglas cut him mid-season last year, so I don't know. Frankie, I got to say, like, I'm being very soft about saying that. But, like, look, I trust Joe Douglas and his team. If they think Ertz still has enough to bring over for a year, fine. I hope it's not too expensive, but fine. But I would much rather see Ben Mason, Nick Eubanks, get some of those guys in here. And then Hollister, Jacob Hollister, I think is his 5th year. Maybe 4th or 5th year, something like that. So bring him in here and then let Yeboah go to the practice squad and just kind of develop. You know what I mean? Then next year we use a 2nd-round pick on a legit frontline tight end. And then you got Croft as the vet. You got, Jacob Hollister. You got Kenny Yeboah, and then you get this. And then now we're talking. Like, isn't it nice? Isn't it high time that we actually had a legit tight end room? Legit. Like, our receivers are good. Hopefully our quarterback is good. We've been developing this offensive line. You grab a 2nd or 3rd round right guard. You know what I mean? You just kind of keep building this thing. And then you have 2 or 3 legit tight ends, 11 personnel tight end and 12 personnel, like somebody who can legitimately block and peel off and be a weapon. Like a Gronkowski. You know what I mean? Let's see. Ben Mason idea, right, Braden? I like it, man. I was surprised. There's a lot of these cuts. I'm like, I remember guys like, look, Charles Snowden got cut from the Bears, right? It's like, remember talking about Snowden in our mocks? It's like, dude, a lot of these guys are, dude, Quincy Roche was cut. He was being talked about early on as a 2nd-round pick. He slipped all the way, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was a 6th round he made it to. And now he's cut? Like, what happened? I like him. I'd bring him in. I don't know what's going on, of course, but you know what I mean? I like the idea. So, okay, let's see. Dude, Eddie, what if the store, right, AC's saying it right now. Here we go. And Eddie was saying he likes it. What if the plan is to save roster spots by using the versatility that we do have? That Fant is working like first swing tackle. We got Chuma Edoga there too. And our tight ends are Croft, Westco fullback tight end, and Fant. Would you be against that? What do you guys think? Tell me yes or no right now if you would be against, if their plan was seriously this. Croft starting tight end, so when we're in 11 personnel, it's Croft. And when we need a 2nd tight end, we're going max protect, or we're going to go, you know what I mean, like really kind of try to bully him or something. That it's Croft, Westco as a fullback, and Fant as the 2nd tight end. So Fant is kind of filling the role as backup tackle and backup tight end or 2nd tight end. Would you be okay with that? Fant would be a beast at fullback too. So what do you guys think? Would you be yes or no? Real simple to that question. Let me know what you think. Jumbo did cut a touchdown. Yes, 20. Well, I was yes, I get it. I'm just talking about the scenarios, Frankie. I know the difference between 12 and 22. I was just following my line of thinking as it developed. I started one place and it ended somewhere else. You know what I mean? So Brad Finkelstein says no. Shadow Maniac says no. John Amorello says yes. Isaac says yes. Cravat says no. Dave Letterman would coach, says PJ Hudson. He's playing. right? He's like, yeah, why not? Fucking Letterman will coach us. Rusty Spooner gave the thumbs up. Eddie McGuire says yes, yes, yes. That would be awesome. Tyson Matting says yes. John Amarella says he would love to see Fant full season, full steam at a defensive back. Yeah. Jeremy says he knew that he'd like to see a pure receiving tight end. Yeah, that's what we'd be missing with that group. But as we saw, Croft might be a little bit better at receiving than we think. He's not, he's not Kyle Pitts, but he can catch. And look, Fant can catch too. He doesn't have much going on, but he can catch. What's up, Silv Scouts? Good to see you, man. I did have a good night so far. Thank you. And you love the mystery of Wesco, right? Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Fant played tight end. He only had that, if I remember correctly, it's one real in-game catch. And his hands looked so soft. It was a nice route, so soft, and then he was running for the first down, and he fell on his face, untouched. He's big, got big legs. He didn't know. He was expecting to get hit. He's like, "Arr!" And nobody was there. And he just fell, and he didn't get it. It was like 1st and 9, or whatever, 3rd and 10, and he got 9 yards, all by himself. And then somebody touched him, something like that. Yeah, I agree, Shadow Maniac. But the thing is, if there's no one out there that they feel can be that, and they plan to take them next year, don't forget, this is a pretty stout tight end class, led by Kolar in Iowa and Ruckert in Ohio State. There's a few. So, they might just think, hey, man, this year it's all about protecting Zach Wilson. Croft can be an outlet. Wesco can be an outlet. And we're just going to protect the living hell out of this guy and batter teams. It's interesting, right? Well, I hear you, Jaw. But so if he's the backup tackle, and then you kept Chuma Edoga, you have 2 backup tackles, swing tackles, no less. Chuma really should be the right side, but you have 2 swing tackles. And then you got McDermott, whatever he's doing if he's on IR. How do you donate to the chat? You can't. Do you see Super Chat? Is it not on? It should be on. Let me see here. If it's not on, I apologize. I thought it was all on. I set up my stuff. Let's see what I did wrong tonight. It's on. So you'll see there, it says like Super Chat or something. On the bottom of the chat, you'll see little symbols, John. And that's always welcome and appreciate it. I appreciate it. Also on my videos, did you see that new thing they put? It says thanks, like where you can like or dislike a video right next to that. It says thanks. You can just donate like $1 million, 1,000, whatever you want. You see this guy?
Hello.
This is Teen Bean, everybody. He's just creeping right now. He's got to go to bed, though. It's bedtime. He had his first game the other day. He had his first real-life tackle in a game. He was playing cornerback, right? Hang out. Where you going?
Saying they're looking to get me at defensive end.
Defensive end? You're a little small for defensive end. I don't know. Whatever the coaches think, right? But he came up as the cornerback. He played the run. The guy came out to his side. He ran up there and he tackled him, man, behind the line of scrimmage. I was like, yeah! I want to run on the field and start breaking a bunch of stuff. I'm out of control.
So I think I had a pretty good fantasy thing too.
Yeah, no, we'll do that later, though. You can't. We're talking about cuts right now. He's like, I have a good fantasy team. He wants to tell me. All right, we'll go to bed.
I miss Yeboah too. I kind of wish that we didn't cut him.
I know, Yeboah. He's upset about Yeboah too. Go ahead, kiddo.
But at least we kept West.
Right. I agree, Garrett. So that was Teen Bean, everybody. Goodbye, Teen Bean. See you later, kiddo. I still think Yeboah is coming back, and they already have a deal in place. I'm telling you, I think that might be the case too. And I want to comment too. A few people said this. One guy was so mad about this. A guy that's here all the time, friend of mine, DWC. He was so upset that the Jets gave him the game ball and then cut him. He thought it was the most venomous thing in the world. What a bunch of jerks. And I can see it, but I got to say this. What if like, he's an undrafted free agent, right? We never know what's going to happen with those guys. Most undrafted free agents never really get to play in the NFL. Preseason game or two, and then they go and they live their lives. They might come back and try out next year. Most undrafted free agents don't make it. So Kenny Yeboah got to play in a few games, 3 games, had a 2-touchdown game, was the hero with the Hail Mary catch, and was given the game ball by the head coach, and the locker room went nuts, and it was all filmed. Let's say he falls in line with all the other free agents, undrafted free agents, and doesn't have an NFL career. That'll end up being the highlight of his life. You know what I mean? Like, every undrafted free agent should be so lucky. So that's the thing. I try to look at it a different way. It's not that Saleh and Douglas are cold. They gave him his props when it was there. Like, why not give him the props? Because you're going to cut him or whatever else. Do it. So I understand, but I tend to look at it a different way. I'm like, dude, it's good that they gave him his due props. He earned it. Now, that doesn't mean he earned staying on the roster, obviously, which I disagree with. But so, yeah, it's on, right, John Post? So, John Rogers, thank you. But it's a little thing on the bottom of the chat window, like where you'll see little symbols. I think it's an S. I think so. All right, so Joe Klecker to the Hall. Oh, Blunted. I don't know if you're in Vegas. You can't come, but we have some plans. I'm going to start some stuff this year about Klecko to the Hall. We're going to get it going, guys. We're going to get it going. Gitmo Bob, I don't think Cager has the body to be a tight end. I think what they're doing with Cager, I think he'll be brought back because it's worth bringing him back. I don't think anybody's going to take him because putting him on your roster is silly because he doesn't stay healthy. I think what they're going to do with him is put him on the practice squad, practice with him all year, and see if he stays healthy in that capacity. If he can stay healthy in that capacity, then they'll consider putting him on the roster. He's never stayed healthy. Remember, in college, I think he had 19 catches with 16 touchdowns. Like, it's crazy, his numbers. But, like, he can't stay healthy. Whenever he plays, he's excellent, but he can't stay healthy. So I think that's probably the issue. So Bismo Charisma, where is it? Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I do appreciate it. That's Australian dollars right there. So that's nifty. I like it. Hey, mate, coming in late. Hope all is well. I'm excited to see what JD does in the coming days. He always seems to surprise and has a plan. Stay safe. Well, thank you. You too, man. And he does always seem to have a plan. What did you guys think of this Herndon trade? It kind of came out of nowhere, right? Now, you guys know, you've been hanging out with me, most of you. I've been saying that I think Herndon is going to be traded for months. I said they're going to want to showcase him to try to increase his value so they can get something for him. But I don't think Joe Douglas is going to want to depend on this guy anymore. He depended on him the last 2 years, and he got nothing. So that doesn't mean that Herndon won't be great somewhere. I think Joe Douglas is kind of done depending on Chris Herndon. So the fact that he turned around and got a 4th, now we gave a 6th too. So it's really Herndon took our 6th and made it a 4th, which is great. 2-round jump, not bad. Pretty damn good. I think it's brilliant. I really do. I really do. So we traded Herndon and a 6th for a 4th round pick. It's beautiful. Beautiful. So I think JD has a plan as well, man. And that's nice to know. And we never know what he's thinking. That's the thing I like about him, man. They have called very little. And usually when they know something about Joe Douglas, it's not coming from him. It comes from the agent of the other side. Always. It never comes from in-house. And I love it. I like to know stuff. I want to know. But it's still not coming from Joe Douglas. It's coming from the agents, someone else. That's how they get info. It never comes from our front office. And I think it's great. So thanks, Bismo Charisma. Don't you worry about being late, buddy. So Shadow Maniac, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Super chat, get Ben Mason as a fullback and put Wesco back at tight ends. Dream scenario for GreenBean. I liked Wesco. I think I like Wesco at fullback, but I'm not against bringing in Ben Mason. Look, we have to be real here. I don't know what kind of camp Ben Mason have. Now, Joe Douglas knows the Ravens very well, so he's probably having some real conversations. What's up with this guy? Do you want him? Nah, we're going to let him go. So what's the deal? You think I should take him? And they go, dude, Joe, he sucks. He sleeps late. He smokes cigarettes. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. Obviously, I'm making that up. But it's like we don't know what the story is. But if we brought in Ben Mason and kind of used him and Wesco as kind of like, switching, rotating fullbacks, and then Wesco played some tight end, I think that would be great. Versatility is king, man. Versatility rules the day. And we have some for once. Last time we had any real versatility was back in the Rex Ryan days with Brad Smith. Remember Brad Smith? Quarterback, wide receiver. He was good, man. He's one of those guys. That's how I hold LaMichael Pirine. Not the same, but like Brad Smith, he was never going to light it up. Never. He was never going to be the guy to carry your offense. But damn, was he good in those roles that they had him. He would get 2 or 3 plays a game, always got some yardage, and then in the playoffs, they baited him up because he always ran when he got the ball, and he tossed it to Kachary, and then he had the kick return. So it's like he's just one of those guys. You want guys that are versatile. I don't think Pirine's as versatile as him. I didn't mean to say that. But that's what I think, like Wesco, if he can play those 2 positions, George Fant, you know what I mean? Starting to have guys that can do different things. Feeney plays center and guard. You got the tackles that can play guard. ABT can play tackle. It's like we're starting to put a premium on versatility. So, yeah, I like it. Definitely, Shadow Maniac. Definitely. Could not agree more. No name. That's funny. That is funny. You're showing your age. I don't know how old you are, man, but if you know about that cat. What's funny? I still like that I was young, but I remember there was kind of a little bit of an uproar that the Jets drafted Roger Vick in the first round. Like I remember that as a kid. And I was like, we got a new running back. It'll be, I don't know the difference between a fullback and a running back and when I was a little kid. But I remember that people were like, well, I can't believe they drafted Roger Vick in the first round. So, it's one of those things. Okay, so let me show you guys this page. Let's take a look. Smith went to Buffalo Bills. Yes, he did. But you know what the worst thing about that, PG, is that the way he said it was that the Jets, he went to Buffalo because he had an offer on the table, and the Jets hadn't reached out to him yet. We were all caught up trying to get Nnamdi Asomugha to play alongside Revis. We let Ellis go. We let Kachary. Well, Kachary was a little bit later. We let Braylon Woods go. Let Brad Smith go. We let all these good guys go while we were trying to build Rex Ryan's dream cornerback duo. And we already had Cromartie. Then when we lost out on Nnamdi, we panicked and went and signed Cromartie back real fast. And we had already lost all these guys. But that's what Brad Smith said. He said the Jets didn't even reach out to me yet. I had to take the deal. They weren't even talking to him. How the hell do you not at least talk to Brad Smith? Foolish, right? I agree with you, buddy. That was the biggest disaster in Jets history. I'm telling you. That was as far as off seasons go, that was the worst off season we ever had. Then Idzik offseason was fucking terrible. But that one was more like we were this powerhouse and they just dismantled it for no reason. What you're supposed to do is keep that core together. Nobody wanted, they didn't want unrealistic goals outside of Revis. They didn't want these crazy contracts. I think Brad Smith made like $3 million a year or something like that. It wasn't like, they just dismantled it. They let all the leadership go and they fucking ruined it, man. Pardon my French. That's what they did. They fucking ruined it. Keep the core together and add to it. That's what you do. Jerks. Right, PG. Pitiful. pH balance. Right, Jeremy. All right, let me show you guys this stuff. That was rough, man. Let me get to this drill. So John Rogers figured it out. There it is. Man, I'm doing okay in the Australian dollars tonight, huh? Thank you, John. This is, I appreciate it, man. I do. And I appreciate you persevering to figure it out for us. So thank you for this super chat, my Australian friend. He's on his lunch break in Australia, everybody. So great show so far, mate. We'll turn the volume down a bit because I got a team's meeting now. All Joe Douglas decisions are with long-term view. 2024 Super Bowl. I'm with it. See, isn't that cool? Guys, come on. Let's just enjoy the novelty of that for a second. We got a guy down there in Australia. He's in a meeting, and he's going to turn it down so he can hang out with us. Isn't that fantastic? I couldn't love it any more than I do. I'm telling you. But I agree. That's the cool thing. Like Mike Tannenbaum, who was a fun GM, and he built those teams, so you got to give it to him. But he was very short-sighted in his vision. Remember, we had drafts with 3 picks, 4 picks. Like, he was just selling the future. He didn't care. Trader Mike. He figured it all out. He just brought him in, and who cares about tomorrow? We're going to live today. And that worked for a minute, but there was no longevity involved. And that's what sucked. We had to deal with that because it had to be fixed. It was broken. Joe Douglas is maintaining. Now, it's a slower burn. It's a slower build. But he's thinking everything long-term. And even though I disagree with moves, I do. Like, I can't tell you that I love everything he does. I don't. But you know that he's got vision and he's got long-term. He's got a long-term view of everything, and that's the right way to do it. I agree with the overall philosophy. You know what I mean? And just one more note on there, John. Frankie, where'd he go? Frankie says, weird fact. He hates English accents, but he loves Australian accents. What do you think of that? So it's interesting. And Frankie, as we know, is a professional voice person. So he knows his voices. He knows his accents, I bet. I wonder which one Frankie's good at. What regional dialect he has best. All right, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to look over the NFL cuts, okay? Right, no more patchwork. All right, let me see here. You guys want Noah Spence? So here we go. Let's see. Hold on. Okay. John Rogers for president, right, Vegas? I agree, man. This is it. This is it. Matt Simon, I've been calling for Hollister all day. I saw him cut earlier. I said, dude, I'm telling you, man, Joe Douglas is at least considering that one. He had, I didn't look, so I don't know the actual number, but I believe he had like 35, 40, between 35 and 45 catches each of the last 2 years when he was in Seattle. I don't know, you know what I mean? So like he can do it, man. Remember, Herndon only had 39. That was his only year. Everybody loves him, you know? Not everybody, but we all had hope because of 39 catches. This guy's just doing that, you know, and he's a good blocker. So let's take a look. I'm going to go to the top of the page here. And so I'll stop. We're going to take a look at some of these guys. This is the Cardinals cuts. We're going to do this long form, okay? We're going to be here a while. Fucking pack a lunch like John Rogers. So let me see. Do you see any of these guys that you like? Shaq Calhoun? Now, a lot of them we're not going to know, and some of us will know them and some of us won't. Let's see what we got here. Picasso Nelson, A.J. Richardson. Let's see. James Wiggins. Oh, I was thinking of our tight end, James. Remember Wiggins? Terrence Smith. Greg Dortch. There he is. He just got cut. Remember Greg Dortch? Remember he had that little spot on One Jets Drive, and he was like, what, 5'7" from Wake Forest. What do you think? You want to sign Greg Dortch, that was one of Joe Douglas's first cuts. Nice guy, works his butt off. You can't take it from him. And look, he's been in the NFL floating around for 3 years. So 5'7" guys, they don't make it too long in the NFL. So he's trying. He's trying. What do you guys think? You see anybody on the Cardinals that you're digging? Right, Leon Beard at 3 a.m. Strap in, everybody. Crofton Hollister. Yeah, I like it. Right, and Herndon's very overrated. 66 catches, 6 tight ends. Otis Sanders. Yeah, you imagine? That was him. So not too many from the Cardinals list, right? Chandler Jones. They didn't cut him, though. They didn't cut him. So he's still there. All right, let's move on to the Falcons. You see anybody that we like? Let's look at the positions we need. Oh, Emmanuel Ellerby. I think we should bring in a linebacker too. And I can't tell you, I know this is what you get into these players. Some of them ring a bell and I can't remember who the hell they are. It's hard. It's hard. Willie Beavers. So if anybody knows any of these guys, let me know, because then you can tell us what we think. I'm not seeing too many people that I recognize. Tuzar Skipper, outside linebacker. We don't need him. Safety. All right, Baltimore. Here's where it's going to get interesting. Baltimore. You guys see anybody? Right, I think so too. Jaws saying, wait, where'd it go? Defensive end, cornerback, or linebacker, and obviously tight end. Right. I also think I know we're gonna do it quick, young baby. I promise. I also think that offensive line is still something that we should look at. If there's a guard, Ben Braden was cut. I don't know how you feel getting him back. Ben Braden is cut up in Green Bay. Right, Braden. Michael Schofield. Are you guys looking at the same thing as me, or are you guys just going off on your own here? I want to try to do this with you, but so here's some that I like. There it is. You were right. You were with me. I'm sorry. My bad. Michael Schofield. Right. Didn't he play? I think he might play center, but they said that he has an issue snapping, if I remember. So it's kind of like it's hard to see, a little hard to see. You guys can't see it? Hold on. Let me do this. Is that better? Yes, Schofield, right. Your screen is blurry. It's blurry. It looks so crystal clear over here. Let me see what you guys are seeing. Hold on. Because if it's not going to look good, I don't want to waste our time with this shit. Let me see. Let me see what you guys are saying.
Virginia's workers are hungry for unions. We're tired of being underpaid, overworked, and treated as disposable.
Much better. All right, hold on. It looks pretty good, right? It looks pretty good. Oh, it looks good to me over here. We don't have to. So, all right, we'll breeze through it. So here's some guys that I like. I do like Michael Schofield, but from what I understand, he had problems. So you remember with Spencer Long snapping to Darnold, he was over his head on the ground. He's rolling the ball to him. Remember that? So we have Michael Schofield. We just want to be careful with that stuff. But Tony Poljan is a 6'7", 275-pound tight end from UVA who climbed the boards late in the draft process. Let's see. There are some more. Jalen Moore, right? We liked him. Adrian Ely, there's one. I like Adrian Ely too. Tight end Eric Tomlinson, he's still around. Remember? We couldn't cut him fast enough, in my opinion. And then we have tight end / fullback Ben Mason. Okay, so he can do that. So there's some good ones there, man. There's some good ones. Now here's another one, offensive lineman Jack Anderson. He's developmental though. They're probably going to want to bring him back, but I think he's from Iowa, if I remember correctly. Let's see here. Quentin Morris. So we're not looking at running backs, obviously, quarterbacks. So we're looking, like Jaw said, we're looking at like defensive ends, even some linebackers, tight ends, and cornerbacks maybe. I think they really like our cornerbacks though. Like, don't forget, 3 of them that they kept were this year's draft class. Bryce Hall was last year's draft class, and then Bless Austin's the starter. So, I mean, it's kind of hard. I don't know how much room there is because they're going to develop these guys. At least for this year, they've decided to develop these guys. Javelin Guidry and Michael Carter II at the nickel spot. And then you have Eccles, Pinnock, Blesson Austin, and Isaiah Dunn made it on the damn team. I don't look, as much as I'm rooting for him, I don't get it. I didn't think he looked too good. Man. What team is it? Buffalo Bills. So I don't know. I think I like Jack Anderson and I like Jacob Hollister for sure. I really do. You guys have any thoughts? Let me see what you're saying. Right. The thing is, I don't know. I saw that the Browns. Let's see. Let me see real quick. Saw the Browns signed Nick Mullins, but I think he was cut. I don't know what's going on here. Transactions, NFL transactions. Let's see who's. I don't see anybody released. Let's see if anybody was signed real quick. I don't know. It's hard to keep track of. There's so much going on, So let's look here. Oh, Will Grier. He got cut. Linebacker Patty Fisher. Let me tell you something about Patty Fisher. I would grab him in a heartbeat. I think he's solid. Solid. It's going to be tough here, man. I don't know. But look, I mean, clearly this will take, I think we're on the 5th team, so it's going to take forever. Daz Newsom's out there. We don't need wide receivers, but he's one. Scooter Harrington. You want a guy like Scooter on your team? What do you think? You guys want Scooter? PG, good to see you, buddy. Glad you're hanging around. You have a good night, buddy. So I don't know when they can start signing guys. Like I said, I saw that the Browns signed Nick Mullins, so I'm under the impression they can sign him. Does anybody know? Are there any restrictions? Can we sign guys? I see the trades going on. The Giants made a trade with their center. I'm telling you, he's not as slow as you think, and he's got better hands than you think, too. He's a monster. He came on late. Like I said, it took me a while to kind of come on to him. Like I like him, but I thought he was going to be like a really late round pick. Let me see when he was taken. I think he was taken earlier than I thought he was gonna. Let me see. Let's see. Let me just see real quick. No, he went undrafted. Okay, I have that backwards for some reason. He was undrafted. I thought he got drafted. My bad. If waived, teams can sign him, right? So I don't know what Joe Douglas is waiting for. Because in order for the 3rd team to sign somebody, well, that's not, we have to put in a claim. So if we wanted anybody, we have to put in a claim. But the way that it goes, so there's 5 waiver claims. the first team, if they in fact want them, they get them. The team that's earlier in the lineage, on the list, and we are second. So it's weird. It's weird. All right, let's do a couple more teams. You want Joe Bacci? Amani Bledsoe. Let's see what we got here. Thaddeus Moss, right? I don't know. I'm not. Puka Williams. Wow, yeah, running back. I thought he was going to make it. He's probably going to their practice squad. There he is, defensive end Noah Spence. Now, I think he's injured because he was a guy I liked a whole bunch. He had a decent year 2 years ago, I think it was. 2 or 3 years ago. I think he's like fourth year in the league. So here's the Browns. See anybody? I don't know. Alex Taylor, maybe. Looking for some guards. But they're, let's see. Who do we see here? Who do we see? There he is. Nick Eubanks. Nick Eubanks. Oh, man. He's another one, dude. He's going to be good in this league. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you. He's going to be good. They call him a poor man's Kyle Pitts. They said that about Yeboah to a degree, though, too. So who knows? Let's see. Seth Williams, right? We liked him coming out. Just it's tough for some of these guys to get. You know who I saw too was cut was Sage Surratt was cut. Yep, there he is, Sage Surratt. He got cut. It's a lot of guys, man. I don't know. It's weird. It's like you think about all these guys coming into the league. And, I think careers are getting shorter because of it. Like look at all the guys that are out there right now that are not getting signed. There's a lot of them. A lot of guys. There's our old tight end, Bronson Kafusi. Right? We had him. There's Ryan Izzo, who, Danny Isadora. How old is he? I don't know. All right. So anyway, there's a lot of guys. Let's go to the bottom and just scan real quick. Here's the Miami Dolphins cuts. See anybody we like? Let's see. I'll tell you what. The Raiders cut that cornerback. What the hell's his name? He's one they should look at. But look, Parry Nickerson. He's still out there. He got cut. That poor guy. Kenny Willekes. Get out of here. I would love Kenny Willekes. He got hurt last year, though. I don't know if he came back. I don't know how he came back. He got hurt. I love Kenny Willekes. All right. Well, I think they start now. Waiver claims deadline. So I don't know. I'll be honest. I'm not sure exactly. And forgive me. Let's see here. Yeah, all these guys are on waivers. Well, clearing waivers means that, in order to clear waivers, it means that nobody put in a claim for them. So we're second on the waiver claim list.
We keep getting tornado warnings.
So what do you want me to do about it?
Should we go inside in the basement? Sorry. Should we go in the basement? There's warnings, not watches.
We're getting tornado warnings. I don't know. I think I'm fine. We're in the trees. Nothing's going to happen here.
We're in an RV.
We're in an RV in the trees. There's trees around here. We're going to be fine. Right, guys? Oh, so, hey, Mumtaz. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you. Thank you for the super chat. Does Joe Douglas have naked pictures of all the GMs with monkeys? I thought we should just cut him and we get a fourth. I know, right? Well, he might with the Minnesota Vikings. I'm not sure. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. And especially because in the preseason, Chris Herndon was able to do nothing. And like, it's not like we weren't using our tight ends. Look how many passes Daniel Brown caught and dropped. Look how many passes Kenny Yeboah got. Look, Croft had 2 touchdowns. Yeboah had 2 touchdowns. So we were using our tight ends. And Herndon did very little more than nothing. So, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. I can't believe that they got that value for him. We do need linebackers. I would like to see Charles Snowden brought in, man. He got cut too. Charles Snowden got cut. Yeah, see, Chrono Kenny says he got a tornado warning the other day and nothing happened. You'll be fine.
I feel like that always happens, but nobody who gets a tornado thinks today's the day the tornado is going to hit them.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
Same.
Brashad Perryman is guaranteed $2 million and got cut. Is he guaranteed $2 million? Oh, that's Detroit. That's Detroit for you. So maybe we do that. That's with Dan Feeney. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how good of a move Dan Feeney was. Who knows? Maybe he settles down and he's a good backup guard center. Remember, a center. He does have versatility, so there's that. Now we're in Virginia, Kenny. We're in Virginia right now. Is that right? No. Oh, okay, Mickey Malls. I see what you're saying. They caught Snowden hacking into the system. For one split second, I believed you. Then Charles Snowden. I get it. Or wait, no. What's the guy's name? Charles Snowden's I don't know what the hell's going on. Hold on. Let me see something here. All right. So we'll remove that. Feeney plays on skates. So, all right. Well, look, it's going to be an interesting night, man. And tomorrow, we're probably going to wake up. Edward Snowden. Thank you, Isaac. Jesus. Thank you. Charles Snowden's the player. There it is. Thank you. It all gets jumbled. So it's going to be an interesting night. I can't imagine that we're not putting in some claims right now. It usually you can clear waivers in an hour. If they put it through and everybody goes, no, you can clear waivers, But I imagine some of these guys are going to get grabbed. And I think we should grab a tight end. And I think we should probably grab a linebacker and some more edge help. Did the Colts cut Banagoo? I don't know if they did or not. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Indianapolis. All right, keep me posted. I didn't get any warnings yet.
Yeah, but you also might not be connected to the right tower. You may need to turn off your phone and turn it back on. We've been everywhere.
Yeah, so Quincy Roche was cut, dude. I can't believe it. Let me see. Where's the Indianapolis Colts? Let me just double one last thing, and then we'll get off this thing. Wow, there's so many guys, dude. So many guys got cut. It's just crazy, man. How many players, right? Isn't it, though? How many guys? 864 players were just cut. Where's the Indianapolis Colts? There's the Dolphins. I thought we looked at them. I would have noticed it, though. Raiders. Who's the Isaiah Johnson? That's who it is on the Raiders. He's somebody to keep an eye on too. Jacksonville Jags, Indianapolis Colts. Let me just see real quick. No, Banagoo made it. Banagoo made it, at least for now. So. Yeah, especially after cutting all these guys. So they got to have plans, And so I think we're going to see some stuff done tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like by the time we wake up, maybe, or early morning. I think we're going to see some stuff, guys. Right. Okay. And then there's going to be guys. We're going to put guys on IR tomorrow too. Believe it. At least one or two, at least. And there might be a few. Everson Griffin got cut. So there's some guys out there. All right. All right. We're getting the warnings. Everybody's all freaked out. So let me go, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We got a nice hour in, hour and 10 minutes. Not bad. An hour, 10 minutes and 39 seconds, actually. So it's been good, man. We had a good night tonight. We talked for 3.5 hours about our New York Jets. So with that said, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys hanging. It's good stuff. I look forward to Tuesdays because I love the the Talking Jets panel with the boys, and I love coming here afterwards and kind of just having a low stress hang with you guys, So have a good night, and let's see what tomorrow brings. It's going to be an interesting day tomorrow, I bet. So keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, ears to the ground. And I'll see you next time. You guys have a good night, okay, guys? And I'll try to figure out this tornado thing. Hopefully I'm around tomorrow, okay? So you guys, you take care. Let me put on my homer cap real quick for you. The Jets are going 12-5, getting a first-round bye. Home field for at least one game in the playoffs this year. What do you think of that? What do you think of it? That's what I'm saying. 12-5. We're going, guys. 12-5. 12-5. First round bye. Home field playoff game. Guys, it's going to be great. Are you kidding me? We were 2-14 last year. We have a whole roster full of kids. I got a first-time rookie head coach, rookie offensive coordinator. We don't know what these guys are going to do. We have a quarterback. He's never played an NFL game. Mekhi Becton can't stay healthy. I'm telling you, we're going 12-5. I'm telling you, you're out of your friggin' mind. This is when the Colts had Peyton Manning waiting there because he didn't come out the year before because Parcells, our brilliant head coach, decided not to tell Archie Manning he couldn't guarantee that he would take his kid first. It's just the stupidest thing. History could have been totally different for us, Jets fans. But it's not. And it sucks because Parcells is one of the greatest coaches we've ever had, if not the greatest. So how can you complain? You can't. I hate that prison cell. I hate it. I want to yell. I want to bitch about it. But I can't because Parcells was good. Traded back. Got James Farrier and Dedrick Ward out of that one. That's what I think.